would be an ideal location for a mobile HARP, a mobile ionospheric heater, a mobile array on a barge. And as he called it, the strawman high frequency array. To this day, have not been able to verify whether or not a strawman high frequency array has been built, but use your imagination. A lot of people speculate that the C-band SBX or the C-based X-band radar is potentially, one of these ionospheric heaters. Now, it operates in X-band, so I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out, but that's not confirmed. Ionosphere controls the performance of critical Department of Defense and civilian systems. DoD civilian active research using traditional ionospheric heaters provided new capabilities and applications that allow control exploitation of triggered processes in space, artificial clouds, irregularity control. The low power of traditional heaters resulted in large arrays and active elements with complex and costly controls leading to fixed installations. Fixed locations are associated with fixed magnetic geometry, limiting the scope of the research investment. And that's what I was talking about when I said HARP was on a magnetic field line. Fixed magnetic geometry, fixed locations, very large, very expensive. Whereas these, they're now going to smaller, faster, mobile, harder to track, definitely harder to destroy during a nuclear war or a World War III scenario. And this goes right to what I was talking about with signaling the apocalypse, talking to submarines. Preemptive nuclear strike. ELF waves are sent to submarines, telling them to surface so they can receive radio frequency or laser-based instructions, launch codes, and targets from military commanders. So most people don't know this, that, basically in order to circumvent signals, eavesdropping, a lot of the military systems now use laser to communicate with satellites so that they can send encrypted information over a direct line of sight that cannot be picked up by just antennas randomly. The ELF waves generated by a facility like HARP or Cutler, Maine, or Exmouth in Australia, those sent to tell the submarines, come up and get your instructions. Other things that they can do with HARP: artificial gravity waves and traveling ionospheric disturbances. Quote, results of our ionospheric heating experiments to generate artificial acoustic gravity waves and traveling ionospheric disturbances, which were conducted at the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program facility in Gacona, Alaska. The result of our experiments with the HARP facility indicates that artificial gravity waves and traveling ionospheric disturbances can be generated in the ionosphere by means of modulated high-frequency heating. During the modulated heating, MUIR radar, it's a smaller radar at the HARP facility. The MUIR radar detected that wind velocity outside the heated plasma volumes was oscillating periodically with the same frequency as that of the heater power modulation cycle. Now, a lot can be derived from that wind velocity outside the heated plasma volume was oscillating periodically with the same frequency as the heater power modulation cycle. So when they were creating artificial acoustic gravity waves and traveling ionospheric disturbances, were they actually modifying the weather because the wind was now resonating with the heater frequency? Pictures over here on the side, highlighting all of this and some of the papers. Atmospheric gravity waves generated in high latitude ionosphere, a review, 1982. F2 region atmospheric gravity waves due to high frequency heating in subauroral polarization streams, and investigation of acoustic gravity waves created by anomalous heat sources, experiments, and theoretical analysis are just some of the papers that I found on this topic. Interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Which brings us to extremely low frequency waves and the most talked about topic, mind control. So extremely low frequency waves, ELF waves, up to 100 hertz are once more naturally occurring, but they can also be produced artificially, such as for the Navy's Project Sanguine for submarine communication. ELF waves are not normally noticeable by unaided senses, yet their resonant effect upon the human body has been connected to both physiological disorders and emotional distortion. And this is from PSYOP to Mind War, the Psychology of Victory. Now, I just want to point out, for the record, what are they talking about with Project Sanguine? If we go over here to Climate Viewer 3D, I have a extremely low frequency ELF, ULF, VLF transmission site map. And this is Project Sanguine, also known as the U.S. Navy ELF transmitter at 76 hertz. This one is located at Clam Lake, Wisconsin, and it has 3 million watts going into it. If you saw it, you probably wouldn't even know it exists because it looks like high-powered telephone lines, as seen in the picture right here. And you can see that right there. That's what it actually looks like. So you wouldn't even know that it was an extremely low-frequency transmitter. This is the one facility in Clam Lake, Wisconsin, and the other is over here in Republic, Michigan. The red lines indicate where the actual power lines are. So Project Sanguine was actually these two facilities that worked together, both putting out over 3 million watts. And they caused such a stir that protesters were jumping the fences at these two military facilities and cutting the wires themselves, that they were feeling electricity in their brains, that they were manifesting extreme tinnitus syndrome, where they called it the Taos, Taos hum. Look it up, Taos hum. So that is the Project Sanguine they're referring to here. Back to this. And the Russian parliament put out a statement: HARP program, and not controlled by the global community, will create weapons capable of breaking radio communication lines and equipment installed on spaceships and rockets, provoke serious accidents in electricity networks and oil and gas pipelines, and, wait for it, have a negative impact on the mental health of people populating entire regions, the deputy said. They demanded that international ban be put on such large-scale geophysical experiments. Russian parliament concerned about U.S. plans to develop new weapon. And over here, you can see one of the different scales of these ultra low frequencies: 3 to 30 hertz, ELF, extremely low frequencies, 30 to 300 hertz, and then VF and VLF from 300 to 30,000 hertz. The Schumann resonance, also known as the heartbeat of our planet, which is naturally generated by solar winds and a fluctuation of our ionosphere. The heartbeat of our planet is 7.83 hertz. That's the strongest of the Schumann resonances. However, there are also 14 hertz, 20, 26, 33, 39, and 45 hertz. The resonant frequency of planet Earth, which is 10 hertz, as Nikola Tesla discovered. Damaging this planetary heartbeat could be detrimental to all life on the planet. Also, the frequencies of human brainwaves evolved in response to these signals. But over here, what do we see? Spectrum before HARP ULF start experiment, ambient noise. And this is a chart showing everything from 0 here to 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2 hertz. And it shows the Schumann resonance right here. And then over here, it shows a 60 hertz spike. And the Schumann resonance, which was spiked right here, is now gone. It is replaced with noise. Spectrum after HARP ULF start, noise increased by more than 10 to 20 decibels between 0.7 to 10 hertz. So HARP is able to, by messing with the magnetic field lines and doing its ultra low frequency experimentation, actually snuff out the Schumann resonance. That should be a concern for everybody. Now, remember, HARP is not the only facility in the world. There are many other facilities in the world. They are not all